Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. The Arkansas Board of Commissioners now in session.
Stand for the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody remain standing for prayer, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this opportunity to come together as a community and as citizens can come, and we got a nice crowd tonight. We appreciate that, so that we can do the business for the citizens. We appreciate that we live in a country of freedom where we have those opportunities to do that. So thank you for allowing that and allowing us to do that. We also would like to welcome back Commissioner Bray tonight, as he's had some health concerns, and we're glad that he's back, and we hope and pray for a full recovery for Commissioner Bray. We pray for Howard County, the citizens of Howard County. We pray for the state of Indiana, and we pray for this great country that we live in, and just ask for your help and guidance in everything that we do. In your son's name that we pray, amen. Okay, let's get started here. First thing we have is special announcements or recognition. Tonight, we honor 2 employees as employees of the month because we had a tie. So, dual honors. And Jeff, I'm going to let you read that one.
Okay.
Do you want to do one? You want to do one?
This nominee deserves recognition for many years of service to the Robert J. Kinsey Youth Center. She has dedicated 12 years as a full-time cook and continues to work after retiring in 2019 and is now a part-time cook. Even though she retired, she continued to help out in the kitchen, especially with changes from leadership and fellow co-workers. She is a valuable member of the Robert J. Kinsey staff, and we would like to have her recognized for all she has done over the years. Connie Cole. Come on up, Connie.
You can do them separate.
Yep. Well, no, we'll bring the other one up too. Why do you stand up here? Because we're going to read another one.
The other employee also works at the Robert J. Kinsey Youth Center. Her position is a full-time cook, and she's responsible for preparing, cooking, and serving meals to the residents of Robert J. Kinsey Youth Center. She's being recognized for her dedication of working and helping out the kitchen department. Her first year of employment, she's been a team player and is always volunteering to work more than she needs to. She goes beyond the role of cook by interacting with staff and residents of the youth center, from everyday conversation to what the meal of the day is. She makes sure that everybody is informed of what's going on in the kitchen and what staff needs to know for the meal. She's a valuable member of the center. Without her, the kitchen would be in trouble, and we don't want that. Her nominator says she's appreciated her help since she's taken the role of dietary manager, and she is irreplaceable. So this person is Kayla Pingleton. So if you would come up.
I'll come around there. I think I should do it both at once.
It's a lot easier if that last boss left it.
You guys should squeeze together a little bit.
We appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
That's true, Todd.
Thank you, ladies, very much. Okay, we have the previous meeting minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. Sign those, please. Okay, we'll move into departmental business and reports. The first one is the Public Defender's Office. Mr. Van Bosch. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Looks like you have a lot on your plate tonight, so I'll try to be brief. But as you recall, last time I was here, Public Defender's Office has a responsibility to provide an annual report to the commissioners, the council, and to the judges. And we've elected to do that on a quarterly basis in accordance with, or in concurrent with the request for quarterly reimbursement from the Public Defender Commission. So you have before you a copy of our fourth quarter request to the Public Defender Commission for reimbursement, which was approved by the Public Defender Board. As you see, we had total reimbursable expenses of $444,652.99 of the total expenditures of $485,422.41. I would note of that $485,453,833 are personnel services, and then the remaining are the office expenses. So the vast majority is the salaries for the public defenders doing their work for the county. The reimbursement request at 40% is $177,861.19, and we anticipate we will receive that full reimbursement. Included in attachments thereto are a list of the attorneys, their compensation, and their qualifications to handle the different cases. We did provide you a caseload spreadsheet key that will explain what those abbreviations are in the attorney caseload report, so that you understand what those cases are that the attorneys are handling. I would note that in the fourth quarter, and just to remind you, the Public Defender Commission came out with new guidelines that go into effect in 2024. So these numbers of 2023 were under the old guidelines. And we had a couple areas of issue. One was the Chin's attorneys, who were significantly in excess of their caseload limits, but the commission has assured us that as long as we bring them into compliance this year, that will not be an issue. And with the new guidelines, in the Chin's attorney's case, we ask for and receive permission to bump up their caseloads from 70% to 80% for those two attorneys, so that we would not need to look at getting another attorney to fill the excessive cases. And then the only other issue was the attorney doing appeals. And in his case, he was significantly over, but with the new guidelines in 2024, he would not have been considered over. And we anticipate that he should be okay this year. We did hire an attorney at the end of this year, the end of last year, to fill a position that was vacated, who has agreed to take on appeals in addition to the attorney we have who's just doing appeals. So between the two of them, we think we can cover that caseload. The only other note of substance is that we also hired an attorney to replace Rebecca Vent, who was doing Chins, who is now the judge in Superior Court 2. Luckily, we found a qualified attorney in the previous judge of Superior Court 2, Brant Perry, and he stepped in, is doing a fine job. So we are fully staffed and working as efficiently as we can to process these cases. And unless you have additional questions, that's really all we have to report for this quarter.
Just briefly, because I know we
Sure.
time constraints. What was the main change in 2024? Was it caseloads?
They changed, 2023, before, there was a caseload weight for level 6 felonies, and then for level 5 and above was all the same weight. Well, now they've went to structuring, because a level 5 and a murder are really not equal, but they were always considered equal. Well, now they've structured them. Murder, you can do so many murder cases, or so many level 1, 2, so many level 3, 4, and it's kind of a tiered. Now, nobody's doing just murders. Most everyone is getting a hodgepodge of all of those, which is calculated in, but that was a major change, along with the changes they made in the salaries for the public defenders in order to comply with the guidelines. But the caseload structure was changed. They did lower it for appeals with the advent of the new technology. It's easier and quicker for attorneys to be able to draft appeals and than they could for some time now, but they finally got around to making the change. But back when we didn't have computers and the processing capabilities that we have now, it took quite a bit longer to do that. So they've made that adjustment.
You said you're fully staffed. Does that include you hired an additional investigator this year?
We also did hire an additional investigator. He started, I think, around the middle of January, and has been nose to the grindstone, helping with some of the murder cases right off the bat. That's been a big help.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Benavash? Well, thank you, sir, for coming before us and giving us this update. We
You're very
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda is Highway Department. Amber Toll.
Do you guys want to open this? First up, we have the opening for our salt barn bid for construction.
Are you ready? You've been ready, haven't you?
I've been very ready. Yes.
Okay. They do like to get these sealed, don't they? Well, the first one we have is from Monroe Construction Group. looks like. We have their financial documents in a sealed envelope, which they ask to be returned unopened if they're not chosen. Okay? And I'm looking for their final bid. I'm not seeing.
Look, why you open the next one?
Yeah, you're right. That's all their experience. I'll let you look at that. She's looking at that. The next bid that we have is from Fredericks Incorporated.
I found the bid for Monroe. They have a lump sum bid for the initial contract of $985,710.00, with the alternate bid of $86,708.60.
Just a copy. This one. Okay, in this one, they've included a copy. Total lump sum installation bid is $1,267,000. And the third sealed bid is from Hearn Construction. They've also included a sealed financial statements. And their bid is total lump sum, $1,036,605. So Amber, I will return all of these to you.
I would move that we take these bids under advisement. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
That motion is carried.
Can I request that we be able to inform the winning bidder if, after I review this, so that they can go ahead and get started? There's a lead time on the kit, the package for this barn, so they go ahead and order that. If I review it, can I go ahead and give award, I guess, and then come back next meeting?
Mr. Wilson,
And
any objections to that?
I don't object to that.
okay.
Okay.
And then I would, with the caveat that, one, I go through with Greg Lake and we review the contract, make sure everything is good to go. And then also that I come back at the next meeting and report for the record.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Amber.
Okay.
You want to go ahead and talk about the consultant
Yes.
on-call agreement?
The consultant on call, I want to push that till the next meeting. With the storms, I didn't have enough time to get it where I wanted to, and also I needed to go through Alan. I didn't have time to do that as well, so I'll push that to next meeting. And then my third item is right of entry agreement. So we have a right of entry agreement with Kent Harness. He is a property owner for the 1250 project. It's County Road 1250 just north of Sycamore. We have a project there that we have submitted for community crossings. We're hoping we get that award. We've gone ahead and done the right of entry for that. We do need access to that property just to do some embankment work. We worked with Kent Harness, and I also had this go through Alan. Alan approved it as well. He went through the contract. So that's signed by Kent and ready for commissioner signatures.
Okay.
So.
Yes. Make a motion that we accept the right of entry for County Road 1250 East project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
You just need one signature on
Yeah.
here.
That's all I got.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next, we have Judge Matt Elkins. Talk about a opioid funds budget proposal that he has. Judge?
Good evening, Commissioners. How are you?
Good.
Good, Judge.
Starting off with, I'd hope to have also Judge Net with me here tonight. She's not here today because there's a family health issue that she's dealing with, so she would be with me here today explaining this. But we were obviously approached with the availability of certain funds regarding opioid settlements, and met with the judges and probation and came up with some ideas for the use of those funds. Has been tailored in the information that was provided to you. We try to give the use of three different things that we thought we could use the funds for, what types of items we'd be using in reference to the Exhibit E, which limited what we could use the funds for, and then the objectives that we were trying to hit. And the objectives, I think where I would start is we wanted to hit early youth education and service. Many times people our participants engage in services, but they don't complete that engagement. So we wanted to promote longer engagement with services, because the longer you engage with services, the greater the chance you are at rehabilitation. And providing more frequent incentives to people and positive family inclusion activities. Basically, there's a direct statistical correlation between being attached to a good family, so to speak, and having contact with those positive family members. It's recommended that 6 to 8 hours a week with your family basically improves your mental health and so forth. And so what we did is we apportioned the funds, starting with having contact with people in the sense that if people are placed into probation, the idea of having television and other electronic means downstairs, making people aware of various programs that are out there. We within probation and through the specialty courts, deal with moral recognition therapy. We do have some persons in probation who are trained. We need additional people who are trained so that we can do more classes, so that persons with substance abuse issues or mental health issues can engage in that type of therapy. And then we go through, obviously, with what Circuit Court Probation is doing. One of the best ones is the Tobacco Addiction Prevention Education Program. That actually ends up starting off in Superior Court 3 if a student gets a ticket for tobacco use or so forth in schools. What happens is a parent can then be involved in a class that occurs on a weekend so that they can learn about the dangers and negative impacts of tobacco and other problems. And I'll state one of the ironies is this: there's a person that we engage services with in one of the specialty courts who had a child that did this. So the specialty court person was taking their own classes and then also had to go to the TAPE program because the parent is required to be there when you go through that program. So it's interesting that we've already had a crossover as it relates to those services. And then there's a number of items that have to do with incentives, type of graduation, things for people so that you can invite family, and then family inclusion projects. Last year, we engaged in one which we called Friendsgiving, where we fed about 3 times as many people as we thought we were going to be feeding. so that they would get to meet with families, secure settings, engage family, and reunite. So the hope that we're attempting to do in this particular case is, throughout various steps in the process, is to provide continuing care, the ability and access to resources, and then also engaging services and giving small incentive and rewards to people who are making progress to keep them engaged in those services and promote sobriety and addressing mental health issues. And obviously, they're apportioned as they were to the various courts and mental health court, drug court, juvenile, probation, and so forth. If there are any questions, be happy to answer.
Questions for the judge? Just we appreciate taking the time to work this up and to do this. As you know, we've been trying to be creative in what we do with these funds, and we just appreciate all the effort you put forward with this. So.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Judge Oken, I've
Yes.
had several conversations with you and since you've been on the bench, and I appreciate your refreshing approach to this, the way you do things somewhat differently than we've done some things in the past, whether it's good or bad, but I think the results have proven that what you're doing has been good. And I just appreciate you willing to think outside the box a little bit, and do things a little bit differently, and I just appreciate what you've done. So thank you.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you.
Okay, under new business, Community Howard was going to give us a presentation tonight. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you.
This will be our Community Mental Health Center, Howard County 2023 report.
Yeah, absolutely. My name is Danielle Majors. I'm the Regional Director of Operations for Community Fairbanks Behavioral Health. I also have with us George Hurd, who's our Vice President of our product line, and also Sarah Graber, who is our Program Manager for our clinic in Howard County. So just wanted to give a quick rundown of some of the services that we provided in 2023, as well as how many patients we were able to serve during that year. For a total of patients served for youth and adults, mental health and addiction services, we were able to provide services for 2,960 individuals. Our payer mix in 2023 looked very similar to what it had looked like in the past. 58% were Medicaid population, Medicare population right at 24%, and then commercial population at 15.71%. Our contractual write-offs, adjustments and write-offs were $10,984.91. Right, $10,984, $491. And the charity sliding scale bad debt write-offs were $1,309,325. In 2022, the Howard County funding was $873,977. For our unreimbursed activity, those services included emergency service and crisis lines, our inpatient services, and uninsured Howard County residents, reports for probation and Department of Child Services, our community care coordination with treatment and social services stakeholders, our trauma and crisis services, and suicide prevention. The number of crisis services or assessments increased in 2023 to 1,126. Our number of acute care admissions increased to 606 in 2023. Community outreach activities included things such as our morning and evening intensive treatment programs. We've actually expanded our programs to include IOP services, so we now have our True IOP for addictions and moving towards having True IOP for our youth services as well this year. We provide services with Recovery Works. We have expanded our contract and continued our contract with Recovery Works this year, which has also led to our services that we're doing within Howard County jails. We provide psychiatric consultation, groups, and skills services to Robert J. Kinsey Youth Center. We continue to meet probation and DCS on a regular basis. We conducted at least 4 meetings last year for Howard County Quarterly Advisory Board meeting. We provide in jail consultations and care coordination to help assist individuals in transition to community and access Recovery Works coverage. and also our school-based partnerships and providing psychotherapy and skills training to qualifying schools. You can see a list of several of the meetings that we attend across the state and within our community. We also are engaged in several different prevention activities and opportunities to talk to individuals about reducing the stigma of mental health and addictions use. Some of our outreaching activities include partnering with our county health department for screening and communicable and sexually transmitted diseases, partnering with our local housing authority, local employment agencies, and academic institutions. As far as our patient experience, you can see our numbers below. We ask patients during each session, we ask them 3 questions. How are they feeling cared for, heard, respected? Did we work on the right things? And did we work on things that they wanted to change in their life? And you can see the score that we received of 9 and higher. So they rate us on a scale of 1 to 10. So we're in 76 to 80% in those answers. At the bottom of page 5, you can see the count of pregnant women provide addictions treatment services for 19. Count of women with dependent children who were provided addiction treatment of 217, and count of patients receiving medicated assisted treatment 115. Top 5 substance use diagnoses that we see within our clinic in 2023. Highest was opioid use disorder, followed closely behind with stimulant use disorder. Our mental health services include everything from crisis services, counseling and therapy, psychiatry, family education support and home services, intensive community-based services, SMI residential programs, case management, skills training, IMR, skill system, and motivational interviewing. We've also been working with numerous stakeholders within the community to promote awareness and better care coordination. We continue to use our Zero Suicide Have Hope clinical pathway to reduce frequency of suicide for individuals. Our top 5 mental health diagnoses in 2023 was for both youth and adult depressive disorders, followed closely behind with anxiety disorders and trauma disorders as well. Happy to answer any questions.
A question about a comment.
Yes,
You know me, I'm always going to comment.
you always do.
Last week, I was down at the State House, and we had the department director in, was talking to him. He was talking about this new formula that they're coming up with for agencies to become community mental health centers, and this formula for funding. Are you aware of that?
Are you talking about CCBHC? Is that what
Yeah.
you're discussing? Yes. Sure.
Painfully aware, maybe?
Yeah, I think what the director was referencing is called Certified Community Behavioral Health Center, acronym CCBHC. And we are currently a demonstration location for SAMHSA, a federal government agency. We're in our 2nd year of CCBHC demonstration. The state is hoping, and I used the word hoping, because they are applying themselves to the federal government to become a state demonstration. If that's the case, it will change the way behavioral health is funded around the state of Indiana. They have to submit their application in March, would hear back in May, June timeframe. If the state is awarded status as a demonstration state, then behavioral health will no longer be paid what's called fee for service, which is you're paid for every service you provide at a certain rate. And then actually in our report, actually I think the number was 10 million something in uncompensated care. Then we're no longer having to deal with that. We're actually paid for the actual cost of the care delivered. And so it's based on a cost report basis and no longer a fee for service basis. In states where this has already been enacted, Missouri, Arizona, some others, it has greatly increased the number of behavioral health providers who are delivering services because now you're not essentially getting paid every time you meet with a person. You're getting paid for the actual number of people it costs to deliver the service. And why that's important, I mentioned this to the commissioners before in the past. The largest portion of our clients that we serve are government payers, Medicaid and Medicare, and those rates haven't adjusted since the late 1990s. So obviously those rates no longer keep up with the cost of actually delivering that service. More times than not, when we're delivering a service, we're delivering that service at a cost that's far higher than we're going to get reimbursed for. Under this new funding stream, we'll actually get reimbursed for the cost of the individuals who are delivering the care. So we should know more in the summertime. That, as I understand it, the state's plan, if they don't get awarded the federal demonstration, then they plan on opening up the state plan amendment, an agreement between the state and the federal government around Medicaid to change how that's operating to hopefully replicate CCBHC.
Thank you for explaining that. It was an interesting conversation because when I asked him, does this mean more money for communities in mental health? And he said, probably not. And I was confused by that.
I could be confused by that as well, because that's not, quite simply, that's not how they've explained it to us. Now, he could be referencing the state will have to, like with everything, there's a requirement that things are budget neutral in terms of its Medicaid spend. So it could be that they have to make adjustments somewhere else. I'm not sure how he's referencing that. But we will be funded very similar to how an FQHC, a federally qualified health center, is funded. And that's based on a per diem, based on actual cost of care delivered.
Okay, I guess we'll wait and see.
Definitely we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, okay, well, thank you, George, very
Yep.
much for that. Appreciate it.
Sure. Any other questions?
I had a question, I don't know if it's for you or for who. On the school services, I'd heard a rumor that potentially those were going away in the future because of funding. I don't know if that's true
Yeah.
or not.
Yeah, and I can certainly address that. We have certainly contacted a number of the schools where we're providing care, not only behavioral health, but some other services as well, letting them know that we would either need to have some assistance in covering the cost of delivering those services, or would have to consider adjusting the services we deliver, possibly ceasing those services. And this is related to funding. If you'll remember, I think it was a year ago or so, I spoke about House Bill 1004 and how that was going to affect some hospitals, not all hospitals, but some hospitals' funding. And again, that House Bill 1004 targeted 5 to 6 of the largest healthcare systems in the state, Community Health Network being one of those. And it did significantly cut funding. As a result of that, we are making adjustments where we can to kind of do what the legislature has asked us to do, which is quite simply bring the differential between what we charge commercial insurance and what we charge government payers into a certain percentage. You can do that quite simply by doing less uncompensated care, and then you don't have to charge commercial higher rates to make up for the uncompensated care. So in those kind of situations, we're just trying to right-size that.
Has the schools responded to you?
Generally, the schools have responded to us that I believe they're wanting to choose to explore their opportunities with other providers, which I think is totally appropriate for them to choose to do so.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move into claims and reports.
I have something under
Salary
new
claims?
business. I have something under new business first.
Okay.
This is our SRI tax sale service agreement that we just need signed by the commissioners to have our certificate sale. And Alan has looked at that.
You just need us to approve this?
Yes.
Okay. And this is for them to actually hold the sale,
To provide services for us,
Right.
yes.
okay? And Alan, you've seen
I
this.
have, yes.
I'd make a motion to accept the Commissioner's Certificate Sale Services Agreement.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
This is approved. You get all our signatures on this?
I think so, yes.
Very good job. Okay, you want to move into salary claims?
Okay. $1,051,918.78.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve the salary claims as presented.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. Payroll expense,
$1,051,918.78.
Motion to approve payroll expense as presented.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those are approved. Operating claims,
$1,233,064.76.
Motion to approve the operating claims as presented.
Second.
a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Those are approved. We have any claims to ratify?
None.
Any monthly reports?
Weights and Measures Monthly Report, start date January 16th through February 15th of 2024.
We'll mark that as accepted. Any grants?
None.
Mr. Wilson,
I don't have anything to present tonight.
Mr. Lipinski,
Mr. Wilson, do you have the date of the hearing for the Stevens property?
Off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay, it's this month,
Should be in March.
March. Thank you.
anything else? Mr. Bray,
No, sir, but it is good to be back.
good to have you back. Okay. Public comments. Mr. Paul. I think we can hear you from right there, Mr. Paul.
Just start coughing again. Over here tonight to get some closure on this monument. Need a name on it. You'll see four squares. You look at the one on the bottom left. What include tearing out the street and sidewalk. It's my understanding from the conversation with my vice president. Mayor pulled the plug on that. That true?
As it stands right now, that is true that we are not moving forward with Mulberry Street.
So you're not gonna be buying the Firestone,
I'm sorry?
you're not gonna be buying the Firestone building?
No, I didn't say that. I said we would not be moving forward with the Mulberry Street Plaza?
For the rest of, has some other ideas. Bottom two, side to side on the right side. That would require moving that sign, not like. Does that not? Become.
Help me out,
Yeah.
Robin.
I'd like to have it on the street, so one of them like that.
I'm not understanding.
Okay, when you walk outside that door and you hang a right,
Right,
you walk, you stop and sign. That whole area right there with the sidewalk and the sign. That to be moved.
where that grassy area is.
It'll be all grass, then we put monument, face and leaves.
Where the current grassy area is going to be redone. Current grassy area.
Whole area. The one that,
I think what you've got labeled there as 1 and 2.
look at it like that. That's not an option anymore. Take a little, reception in the property. The sign and a flag. Sidewalk. Be reconfigured. That's an option. One up above it is the land on the other side of the sidewalk. Goes to the Firestone building. That area right there is another option. And the last option is the, go down the Firestone building. Look at that green space, because, to be honest with you, in my opinion, we don't need another parking lot. It's a bad history in this community. Buildings getting burnt down or tore down in parking lot lots. Not pretty, they're not gonna be pretty. This was, that, what was this? Diamond Meadow. You guys know what that is?
Well, I appreciate your opinion. But I guess I'm not sure that,
Let's put it this way. We got 2 parking garages in the city. In a block of here, the courthouse. I'm about half gone, and I can still walk. I have to have a little help. I can walk a block. Good, I just have a minute. So, let's see, that green space we have there. So there's the 4 options.
And sure, we'd like to determine whether we're going to be building this monument.
Where you suggested it would be. And then we had the courthouse. The guy had a horrible death, and I didn't like the way that went. The idea was alternative space, the north side, north end, and the first option. All of a sudden that disappeared. I think what I'm upset more about anything, nobody had enough respect for my organization, which is doing a lot in this community. And me as a veteran, give us a heads up, and tell them that we're gonna do this. It's just disrespectful to me. I don't deserve that. Worked hard, I got a good reputation, this time, good quality projects and programs, we got something big. Tuskegee Airmen, the mural. So here's what my 5th option is. If we have to move it someplace else, I'm not happy about it. It's come to shove and it's not gonna be. And you guys will pick up the cost overruns. Yeah, and I might be some cost. If we don't get this done pretty soon, we're gonna lose $50,000. I'm not losing that money.
We have a $100,000 project, which
And
is intact at this time, but we need to identify the location.
Have you thought about Veterans Park out at Darrell Chapel?
Well, we didn't want it out there because you gotta understand,
I'm just asking, have you thought about it?
okay, well, the mayor thought about it before I did. The reason the women's monument ain't out there, sometimes that monument's perfect where it is. Veterans and their families. Anything else distracts women who are vastly overlooked in every aspect of our society. You need to have a monument that's alone, perfect on the courthouse. We need to honor this woman, May Johnson. She's one of our daughters. We're in Kokomo, first born in the Marine. Haven't done nothing. She was born 1878, I think. City of First. So,
Point is, it's gonna get built, but we have to identify the appropriate space. So then now we can go back to our funders and report that. That's the progress of the project.
So just a suggestion, just a thought. If you're looking at this where those 25 parking spaces are, if you look at the lower right-hand corner, there by Artist Alley. Have you thought about that?
there's alleys on the other side of the building.
Right, I know where it's at,
Ain't no room in there for that.
but I'm just asking.
Thing is twice as wide as that.
I don't
And
think it would fit
They
there.
wouldn't give up that alley for this. It wouldn't make any sense for them. To fit.
Well, if the Firestone building's not there, I'm just asking on that corner.
If that parking lot's not there, that's a perfect place to put it.
That's what I thought. That parking lot can be adjusted.
Be a hell of an adjustment.
No, I don't think so.
But what is the timeline for that project?
I'm sorry,
The parking lot, what is the timeline?
I don't have a timeline. I
Let's put it
don't,
this
I
way.
don't know the timeline.
Hate to think that we found a place. We got it built, all of a sudden out here, some magic wand got away. All of a sudden the project's back on.
Project's back on.
The whole thing that you're shooting for right now.
No,
Politics.
all right.
So what are your thoughts? Or,
No, the plaza, the plaza, I'm not talking about the plaza. I'm talking Firestone building.
Okay, what about, you're gonna tear it down,
Yes,
put a parking lot there.
yes,
There'll be green space with that monument there, for the parking lot.
no, I didn't say that at all.
That's what I'm suggesting. What are you saying?
I think what we need to do is I'd be willing to meet with you offline and show you what I'm talking about. Would you be willing to do that?
Physically go down there,
Yeah, sure, if that's what you want.
for a better day in the day.
Yeah, I would hope so.
They kind of stuck. They took much, the procedure, they took too much. Sometimes they took out 4.5. Left me a little raggedy.
Well, I'd be willing to
Mine
do
ain't
that.
raggedy though.
I'd be willing to do that. If you are, I am.
Time is of the essence.
I'm
Tell
sorry.
you what,
Time is of the essence.
tell you
I
what,
understand.
like I did make sure the mayor did.
Well, I can't speak for the mayor.
I'll call him and get a date that he's compatible with, and then on the day when mine,
So,
I don't know if that, it's gotta be soon.
When you say time is of the essence, if Jack, Mr. Dodd met with you folks in the next week and then reported back to us at the next meeting, is that's pretty quick, I would think.
yes.
She'll be with me.
That's well
Sure,
within range, yes.
absolutely.
She'll probably come to me. I don't know how I feel. County.
Perfect. Perfect.
We'll get something done glad.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you for your time and thank you for seeing the value of moving forward quickly.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Gary.
Appreciate it. Any other public comments? Mr. Wyman, welcome back.
Good to see you all again. Paul Wyman, 1533 West Lincoln Road, Kokomo, Indiana. So traditionally, in the past, the United Way has come before the commissioners to ask to do an internal campaign in Howard County government as part of their annual campaign. This year, it's my pleasure and privilege to be the campaign chair for the United Way. And so the United Way announced this campaign in the middle of November. And we're going to be having hopefully a celebration on March 14th that y'all will get an invite to. And so we're kind of going business to business, government to government, all the different folks, and getting permissions to do our internal campaign. So that's what we're here tonight is to request. We've got $1 million goal. The community has been incredibly receptive and excited that the United Way is back in action. We have a new CEO at the United Way, Dana Neer, and he's doing a phenomenal job. With me this evening, Allie Tomlinson, and she's the internal director at the United Way on the campaign. And if you haven't met Allie, you should spend an hour with her, and your life will be inspired. She's just an awesome person and one of the sweetest people you'll ever meet. So she's been out and about in the community, and we've been making great strides and feel great about where the United Way is now. So we're asking for that permission tonight, and I believe Madam Auditor will be willing to help us with that campaign as she's done in the past. And if that's so, then we'll get her all the information and get that in. So that's our request this evening.
We've done it for years.
We
It's
have,
been,
and we'll
it's,
continue
and
to do
and
it.
it went away. It did go away for a while. But I would make the motion to allow the United Way to give, or meet with the department heads, or maybe set it up through the auditor's office or whatever, however you want to do it. Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate you guys. Thanks.
Thank you.
And we'll be in touch, Jesse.
Thank you for coming to our meeting.
Yes, of course.
Any other public comments?
I'll be,
Let me come up to our podium, give us your name and address.
Sorry, I got to study tonight, so I won't be here forever. But my name is Anthony Walker. I live at 725 North Cortland Avenue. So I don't know, because it's kind of confusing on who we talk to request claim and reports all the way from, we have them all the way to 2017, but nothing beyond 2017. So your guys' website just got launched and there's no, you guys don't have any information. I can't even, there's nothing. So
what is it you're wanting?
reports, your guys' reports for claims and reports from 2018 all the way up until now.
To do that, you'll need to fill out a public records request.
Okay, so is that through, that's through what office though? Your guys' office or?
That would be ours.
Okay, did I email, was it your email?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, because you emailed me first, it was beautiful, and then when I asked for more information, I got crickets, so so I'll be sure to reach back out, as long as I don't get any crickets. The other thing that I have is for the opioid fund proposal. I requested that information.
I sent you that.
Did you, is it in
Yes.
full? Because maybe, in that, I requested a meeting with you because I'm one of those people that I love to be educated and factual when, you know, trying to present arguments. You know, because I'm kind of confused on a lot of things that I'm like seeing. So I'd love to sit down with one of you guys to kind of walk me through what I'm looking at. Quite frankly, because it's like you go to any other county's website and it's beautiful. You go to Howard County's website and it's like, what's going on? So I'd love to sit down and chat with you guys from that standpoint of how we can get things accessible online. The other thing too is like for meeting notes, it's like how can we get that stuff in advance? So like Howard Community, which they're a fun group, you know, it's like their report. I was kind of getting lost with with what she was saying. And I like to think of myself as a pretty smart guy. So if I'm getting lost, I'm sure maybe others were. So it's like, how can we get kind of those reports prior to the meeting so that we're better prepared for it, if that makes sense? Like today, for an example, there wasn't a lot of these up because, I mean, there's a huge crowd, which I understand that you guys don't,
Sure.
you can't predict how many people are going to show up, but it's at least if you can make it online for people that want to get information about the meeting, that would be greatly appreciated. How do we go about that? As I don't, again, my first time doing this, so it's like, what do we do in order to get that more accessible to the public so that we're kind of, because today was like, if it was accessible and we were reading it prior to the meeting, I think it would have went a little bit faster. And then two, we would just be more educated prior to go into the meeting.
Well, we try to give people ample opportunity when they come to the podium to speak, so we don't try to make it faster. You know,
I'm talking about as far as
that's not our intent.
reading reports, sorry, my bad, reading reports, not questions. Questions are important, but reading reports.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we're getting them right then and there, if that makes sense. So how do we get access to those reports prior to the meeting?
So the question is, how do you get the packets quicker?
And
prior to the
reports, yeah,
meeting?
and reports. Like,
Fair question.
like the reports that the community Howard gave, like, how do we get that report? You get what I mean?
Which those, our agenda and any reports that we're given are put online before our meetings.
Okay, we're online at,
It's
'cause
on our website.
can you show me after this meeting where it's at on the website?
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
thank you, because like I said, I want to
And
make
some
sure
of
that,
the people that come and present, they don't give us that information ahead of time. Sometimes they just pass it out to the commissioners. So, I mean, we'd be happy to copy any of those things that you would need. You just might
Okay.
not get them in advance.
okay, that's okay.
That's a last minute deal anyway, wasn't it? That's why
Yes.
they were in their new business, because they didn't get on the agenda, so they waited too late, so they had to go to their new business, which means we don't get a whole lot prior to that.
Understood, that's why I like to ask questions rather than make assumptions. My dad used to always say,
Just like
it's a fool.
this report,
Yeah, like that right there,
we don't see that till the meeting.
because it's a new business, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I understand that now, so, but yeah, so do I connect with you? So at the end of this meeting, you'll connect with me on that one, and then can we
Yes.
schedule a time to,
Sure.
to connect? All right, that's all, that's really all I have, it's just that, with that information, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment to come before the commissioners? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Of course, you would, wouldn't you? Clea Oliver, 5768 West, 00 North South. I need to get, thank you very much for bringing that up. My question would be new business. Again, you say you don't have, I realize there's a lot of times you don't have that stuff before the meeting. Could it be that it's put on the agenda prior to, forcing people, as he would like, for people to show up to ask about it, to discuss about it? I mean, I don't see any reason why it's new business couldn't be, say, okay, you gotta have it by Friday for the Monday meeting. You know, things that come up, I understand that, but those are the type of things. And as you guys, everybody knows, I'm all for transparency and open government. And I've been doing this for 20, 25 years, and I just feel like that's something. I mean, the website, yeah, it's being changed, and it's getting better from what it is, but there's a lot more things on there, I think, or starting to be on there. Tonight's meeting, I didn't see it on there. I don't know, I'm not pointing fingers, but I didn't see it on there. I was contacting people about 12 o'clock, and it wasn't on there yet. So, I just, I would like to see some of that stuff. Like I said, new business, why couldn't it be on there before
It was
the meeting,
added
so
today.
that people can,
That's why sometimes people call in the day of and want to be added to the meeting. And
Right.
a lot of times we don't want to turn them down or make them wait an additional 3 weeks to be on a meeting, but that's probably
well, I
why.
understand that. I mean, there are times that, would come up, but,
Trust me, I agree with what you're saying. I
Okay.
do. It would help us.
oh, I agree,
A lot.
I agree.
but we never want to stifle somebody from being able to come up either.
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword.
It is,
You
and
know.
and you're right, I mean, it would be beneficial to you guys, because a lot of times you go in there and you go, okay, you know, you look at it and you pass it right then and there before you've even had a chance to look at it too much. You know, the bids, I understand that, that's kind of a different issue, but, you know, some of the stuff,
Mr. Wilson makes us do it that way.
I'm sorry?
Mr. Wilson makes us do it.
Law requires it to be done that way on the bids.
We gotta blame somebody.
Yeah, but anyway, that's, you know, my comments on it.
Thank you. Now, is there any other new business come before the commission? Or public comment, rather? Hearing none, I take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We stand adjourned.